Well, good morning, Sue. How are
Good
you
morning,
today?
Rachel. I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Good. This is episode 39 for us. Yes. I'm Rachel, Treehouse Fiber Arts,
I'm
also known as the closer.
Nicola. I love that so much.
I've taken it on.
Yeah, you're the closer. I need a closer in every area of my life. I really do. Like, I'm a great starter, but then everybody else has to close the deal. And I can get it really close, but then I check out. So yeah, I'm the starter. You're the closer. I love that. I'm soon at 24. And also Legacy Fiber Arts, Legacy LFA linens.
We're a lot of things to a lot of people, Sue.
We are.
Anyway, well, welcome to episode 39. We're so glad you found us. Welcome to any new people. We keep getting new people, and I'm thrilled. You know, it's like people would say, I just found you. I'm so glad you're just finding us and subscribe. We'd love to notify you every time we have an episode. We do it every other week, usually Thursday or Friday.
We're really good about it.
I don't think we've missed one, but it was over Christmas break, I think.
Yeah, I love it because I feel like for our Legacy Fiber Arts podcast, it's so hard with Chelsea because of the girls. But you're at a point in your life where you have that, and I certainly have been that way for a while. So it's really easy, I feel like, for us. Plus, we're like, oh, woke up super busy. Let's do tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, we're casual. We have plan A and B built in.
We do always, and I love that.
And that is for you all.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm thrilled that we get to talk because I cannot wait to see what you've done. I have on our agenda. Let me talk to you about the agenda, Sue.
Help me, please.
I have whips. Well, first I want to talk about a few comments and questions we had. We've got some whips. We've got some FOs. I've got some
You have an FO?
I do. I have 2 FOs, technically. And I am so excited about them. I cannot wait to show you all. And I have a couple of things that I am loving this.
I know, and I don't know what that is. And
I've been keeping it from you.
I know. And so I was like, well, I hope I've got something I've been loving. And I had to, but let's say this, I have something I'm obsessed with.
Okay. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
So you got a lot of advice on your modern folk embroidery, what to do with the mystery sal.
Yeah.
Most said frog, Sue. What are you doing?
Well, I will
come up with an idea.
Frog. I won't frog. I'll cut it out and I won't frog. I actually think I'm just going to let it be for now and not even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like I would just be jumping into something. Somebody mentioned adding a thread.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, but the piece of that, if it was one thread, that's one thing, but there's a lot of threads involved. Yeah. So
that went over my head. I didn't.
It reminded me of when I used to teach when you cut the threads, either Hardanger or Lacis, or there were so many times when you cut your thread and pulled it out. And it reminded me of that because people would be like, I'm so afraid to cut. Like, you never have to be afraid to cut, because if you cut the wrong thread, you weave it in again. You weave another one in again. So that takes the fear away from that. Sorry, my hands are so dry and I have stuff on them. So it feels so good to do this. So I was a little confused by that, only because of the number. It wasn't simply I was a thread off, which they might have thought that's what I said, or I'm misinterpreting what they said.
Yeah. But how many stitches were you off?
Oh, I think I was off like 4.
Okay, so that would be 8 threads.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Good. So there's a good chance, though, that I'm not understanding what she said correctly. There's a good chance of that. So I think I'm going to simply put it aside until I'm hit by the moment of, I can't wait to pick that up. I want to use this thread. I feel like I'm going to invest in a overdyed thread for that one. Not tons of variation, but a little, but not so tiny that you can't see it. Like I definitely want to see it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to keep my options open, but I appreciate all the thoughts.
Yes.
I'm just going to go like this. I would never frog 40 count. I just don't. I don't have the patience.
Okay. Well, good. Thanks for that update, Sue. Okay. So we also got a question from the Striped Dot, who I think must be a knitter who is turning into a cross stitcher, maybe because she's been following you for a while. Sue, I think I got that gist. Or me, yeah. She said that she's a real knitter with a capital K. She's a beginner stitcher. She was wondering first if we could share how we stitch in hand, which I'm feeling like I might make a little video. Set to some music and we'll do that. But she also had a really good question that I think a lot of people would really like. She said, can you give us some tips and tricks that you wished you would have known when you started stitching, cross stitching early on in the stitch journey? So I thought that was a good question.
It is a good question. The one that comes to mind for me, the fastest, is, but it doesn't really apply to samplers. It can, no, I shouldn't say that. It can apply. When I started stitching 100 years ago, it was very common to fold your fabric into fourths, find your center, then go to your graph, find your center point, and work from the center out. That was very common. Now, when I started designing, and I started designing band samplers, most of mine would have been classified as that. And when I started teaching, it was, the 3 in, 3 down. I always gave them enough fabric for that.
For 3-inch around margin.
Yes.
Yep.
Another trick that, it's kind of an odd trick, maybe not, but I used to have them as my students, I would have them do a running stitch down the 3 inches and then count over and do the running stitch on the other. Now if it's a narrow sampler, which for class purposes, quite often that was the thing, but sometimes it's nice to have those boundaries in.
Yes, I find that on samplers. I like to just go all the way across the top so I know where I can maybe lop off a little bit of the fabric or.
But something I'm noticing lately, I do, if I've got a long way to count and I really want to get over there, I do the over, under 2, over 2, under 2, over 2, under 2. So I can count that way and have less mistakes.
Interesting. Well, what
did you think?
Well, know about the cross stitch calculator online right away from the get-go. If you Google cross stitch calculator, it's a tool that can help you. You plug in the stitch count that's given on your design. What's the stitch design count, like 100 by 100, and then you plug in the count of the fabric you want to use. You put in how many threads you're going to go over. So for Aida, you'd be going over 1, and for linen, usually 2. And then you just hit go for it, and it tells you the size that your design will be in inches, and it tells you what margin. If you plugged in, you want a 3-inch margin around the whole thing, it tells you how big to cut your fabric. Yarn stores know all about that calculator. I did not know in the beginning, and I use that every day.
It's so funny because I do all the math.
And you do all the math.
I was trained to do all the math because it's basically, say it's 160 across and you're using a 40 count, but you're going over 2 threads. That's 20. So you divide 160 by 20, 80, 8.
Yes.
8. Anyways, and then you add 6 inches.
So if you want to do it Sue's way in your head, go for it. But no, there's a tool out there that's free.
Oh,
I love that thing.
That is a great tool. But I have to say my era
Yes.
was, we just calculated. And when I had my shop with the cross stitch, calculator was right there. You just punched in the numbers in 2 seconds. So,
Well,
but
back in the olden days, it
I,
was before computers, Sue. That's what everybody had to get their what that stick out and what was that called? A rule?
ruler.
Yeah, okay.
I know. You know what though? I find there's comfort in doing it my way. I don't
Yes,
know why. I don't
it's
know
good
why.
to know both ways, but there's days where your
Yes.
brain just does not want to do math.
No, and I would say 9 out of 10 people are going to run to your website that you're going to put wherever on how to do that.
I do have the yarn calculator on the Treehouse Fiber Arts website. And I try to put it on every listing for fabric because I feel like people are going into our fabric with an idea of what they want to stitch. They know the stitch size and, oh, there's the calculator. I can do it. That's why I put it in
That's
there.
very brilliant of you.
I try and do the work so you don't have to.
You're so serious.
The other thing I thought of that I kind of wish I would have done from the get-go is the sewing method. It sounds a little hard when you're a new person stitching, but in the end, it saves you so much time. You can go so much faster and stitch more things. And it saved me shoulder and elbow pain from all the stabbing. Yep.
And I am a sewer 9 times out of 10. The only thing is if you're doing if you're crossing each one individually, it gets a little more tedious, but I can still do it. Working right to left.
That's how I start at the upper right hand corner. Usually if I'm doing a sampler, like I'll show you in a bit, where there's an actual, what do you call that, chain of stitches. Usually it's like a vine and there's flowers on it. I will go right to left and I will do I'll do a little video, or maybe you can do a little video.
I do the sewing method in a hoop. You know that we've talked about it.
Yes, you do.
I just loosen it. I loosen it. So I feel like I kind of work in hand more than in hoop, even though there's a hoop on there.
Yeah, because you use a small hoop. You use like a 4-inch hoop.
A small hoop, and it's very loose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you don't have to take all the accoutrements along with you, if you're traveling or something, you don't have the big stand and the hoop and
no,
it gets to be a lot.
I see people that use the scroll frames and I wish I liked them because they look super cool. And yeah. I've bought them all and it's too much for my hands.
Yeah. I kind of like just having, I do love the sewing method. The other thing I thought of is maybe right away, think about floss tags. I got my pencil.
I feel like I'm really enjoying your use of that pencil. So I'm going to hold one too.
This is such a cool pencil too.
It looks like a very cool one. It's one of those, I know what it is. It
doesn't roll off the table.
Oh, my hair.
Yeah, because it's triangular, made in Czechoslovakia. Oh, here.
I love it.
I got it in like an art box a long time ago. It's a Triograph 1830. I am not worthy of a pencil like this, but it's so fun.
You're so worthy.
Oh, anyways, floss tags. They're such a neat way to manage your floss.
I agree with you 1000%. And that is such a good thing in this conversation because it's a game changer.
And you have been stitching for so long without floss tags, right?
They didn't, were they around?
I don't know.
But the speed and you don't waste as much. They're terrific. And didn't you do a little blurb about them?
Actually, I do have a video on our channel that shows you how to use floss tags, how to put different types of floss on the tag, and then how to easily use them as you're stitching. You literally pull one strand out at a time. It's so fun and easy.
That is the best. I'm so glad you remembered that because that would be my number one thing.
Yeah. Yep. Trying to see if I wrote anything else. I just said, the called for colors are really just suggestions. Don't
Yes.
be afraid to change your color. If you don't, and look at your pattern. If you need to buy some fancy floss for like the beak of a bird,
Don't.
there's no need. Don't stress. Just
No.
find something in your stash or
No.
buy some DMC.
The only thing is that when you're brand new, you don't have thread to go look and find. So you tend to stay a little more attached to those keys.
Yes.
But yeah, the DMC piece, and a lot of people talk about this, don't feel like, oh, I can't afford to buy $50 worth of specialty threads for that little piece. You're not sacrificing anything by saying, you know what, the DMC conversion is right there. I'm going to use that. Like, there's no shame in that. I do that all the time.
And it's beautiful. This one we're both going to talk about shortly.
This is all DMC.
It's gorgeous thread. Honestly, that floss is so shiny, strong, that there's a colorway in there, that royal blue and that reddish purple color. I forget what it's called.
I don't have them all on here yet.
They're so like, I swear I see multi-dimensional. It's not like a flat color in those colors.
They're gorgeous.
Beautiful.
And especially the way they're used in the pattern. Oh my gosh, they're beautiful.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So but can I throw in my blurb?
Yes.
About anything that you're making or doing or creating? Get the best products that you can afford. Get a good hoop. You have great hoops in your shop. Not that I mean to plug your shop, but you do. Spend your money on your hoop. Spend your money on your fabric. Well, spend your money on everything, honestly, but your supplies, like even your needles, get good needles. Like,
oh, yes.
Your tools. That's what I should be saying. Your tools should be the best that you can afford.
Yes. And there are some tools that are quality that you can find in the big box stores, like Hobby Lobby carries Zweigart. So if it's easier for you to, instead of going to a local yarn or local needlework shop, they have Zweigart there, which is a German-made, beautiful linen, and it's been around for hundreds of years, kind of linen.
Yeah. Yep.
In terms of needles, though, I'm not sold on the big box needles, and needles are cheap. You can get 6 needles for $2, $3, and you use one needle over and over and over.
And that is the piece, even about the hoops. It's like the price is not exorbitant compared to the inexpensive ones.
Yes.
I actually, my friend that I gave the beginning kit to just ordered a hoop from you.
Oh, what? Oh, I'll have to talk to you later about that. That's fun.
I think a hoop and something else, she said. And I was so mad. I didn't know if she'd be a hoop user or not, because it was Ada that I gave her and she really wanted a hoop.
Yeah. Yeah. And I get that. I was like that in the beginning too. It stretches out your fabric a bit. You can see the holes better.
Yes.
But yeah, anyways, back to the tools, Sue, you are completely right, because you'll have such a better experience. If you're using a needle that's got a crappy eye and you can't, I mean, half the time you're doing needlework, you're threading your needle, really, right? I mean, you're like, you gotta enjoy that part too.
Right. And I feel like it is all about the experience. Like that's why we're doing it. We want it to be a peaceful, calm, enjoyable experience. Not only have a beautiful piece, but the time we put into it is a lot.
Yes, exactly. I'm thinking scissors too. I have one pair of scissors that I can never lose, and it cuts horribly. But the ones that I lose are I can't find. Yeah, but anyway, you can buy scissors that you don't have to buy the $60 pair of Italian or whatever German-made scissors. You can get those super snips, which are finally back in my shop.
Oh, they are
super sharp. They're like $3.
Yeah.
They're perfect. So Yes.
But I will tell you this, if you are doing, I was a huge proponent of nothing but the best scissors that you can afford when I was doing cut work. That's
Oh,
when you need
yes.
your scissors, not
Yes.
to just snip your threads. That's, those little snippets are perfect.
Yeah.
If you're going to get into cut work and pulled work and all of that, that's where you spend your money. I
Yeah.
used to have so many fantastic scissors. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I had all the Dovos. I had a ton
Yeah.
of those. And
We need to go through your house.
they're here. They're in that kit that I made up 20 years ago. That's like I didn't ever go back to. They're here.
So, but if you're a new person, don't go buy the $70 pair of scissors if
No.
you don't want to. I mean, there are inexpensive but quality. And not to plug my shop, but I feel like I've been doing creative things for a long time and I know what works for me, and that's what I've been putting in my shop. So
Well,
find a mentor, look for a shop that you love that will give you good advice, that kind of thing.
well, and what I did is when you did have all the snippets, I bought like 8 pairs and I put them in all my projects. Now, of course, all those projects are put away and I can't find any. But I bought enough so that I didn't have to have scissors everywhere I went. They were just right there.
Yes.
And they're
Yes.
inexpensive enough that if you have 4 or 5 projects, do that.
Yeah. I did like such a happy dance when I got the notice that they were finally in, because they've been out for like 8 months
Yeah.
and I love them. So I have like a huge amount.
But I'm gonna have to order more because what I have been doing is when I give gifts, that I think that's where a lot of them went. When I give gifts, or as cross stitch kits, I throw a pair in.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I wish they came in different colors, other than the 3. I'd like some more like muted colors, maybe a little more trendy.
Yeah.
But
They're kind of fluorescent fun. I don't know. I kind of enjoy them.
they are. And you don't lose them in your bag. You can find them easily, I guess.
Unless it's in this bag.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I think we've beat that dead horse to a pulp. I think everybody's probably sleeping by now. But if you have an idea that we haven't mentioned of, what you wish you would have known, let us know down below.
Yeah, down below.
And let
Definitely.
the striped rose or striped dot know below as well. Thank you so much for that great question.
Yes.
All right. Oh, let's get into stitching.
Let's get into stitching.
Do
Who wants to go first? You have an FO. Show your FOs.
Oh. I'm so excited about these.
I think I know what they are.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Rachel.
I know. I don't have the sticks. I know I put on my Instagram, I was going to go out into the Arctic tundra and find some sticks, but we have had the worst gross weather around here, so I haven't put a stick in from my yard yet. But let me get up close. These are free pair designs from Santa's and Samplers blog spot that I heard about from a few people online that were doing pairs, and I'm addicted. So
Rachel,
there it is. The only thing now what I learned about this is when it's seated, you can't see this pretty part, but basically I've done 2 now.
Oh,
I pulled out of my wool stash these really pretty wools for the leaves. And what I did, so I have a Cricut machine, a cutter machine that I absolutely love. So what I did is I cut out a pear shape. I got the right size of a pear shape that I could use as a template to cut this out and all my fabric pieces out, as well as the the fusible.
Oh, you put that on
SF 101. I put just for structure, I put on everything. And what was really neat is when I cut out that pear shape to cut out the fabric and stuff, it also made a stencil template that I could lay on top and trace so that I made sure it was center. It was really, really cool. So then what I did is I went to my sewing machine. I had the 3 pieces that had the SF 101 adhered to the back.
Is that
And
iron-on? I know that's a dumb
yeah,
question. It is iron-on. Okay.
yep, it's iron-on. And I sewed it together, I put the right sides together, and I took pictures of all this, and I'm going to do a blog post that kind of shows step by step how I did it.
Professional.
Because I couldn't find anywhere that showed me on anywhere how to make a 3D pair. But it worked for me. So then I loved,
Oh, so sorry.
bless you. I loved the stitching that I saw on some people's
So
pairs.
is that, it's hard to, oh yeah.
There we go.
So you did it after you sewed it.
I did. I stuffed it, and then I did it after I sewed it, and that was so fun to do. It's just a little hatch kind of cross thing. You can't see it on the front.
It's very crazy.
Blown out.
I can see it.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
I love it.
Yeah. And then I cut out just by hand. I looked online for what a pear leaf looks like, and I kind of drew it by hand. And then when I stitched it on, I kind of curved it because I didn't want to just be flat.
No,
so I sort of I stitched this together. And when I put the stick, there's a hole there that it'll set in. And I probably will put a dab of glue. But this one I think is my favorite. So
I do too. I love the other one, but I love that one.
I love the house. And I stitched it with Veldani pearl cotton that I had. In person, it's a variegated color that looks really good. It's got the greens and it's basically all these variegated. And I do have pictures of when I was doing it on Instagram. Oh, that was the process that I used. And like I said, I can't wait to try making a little blog post with all the pictures that I took along the way. And I want to do more of these.
Oh my gosh, I do too.
This just gave me so much confidence to do those trees now.
Oh, I know.
For the 12 Days of Christmas.
I have no confidence in finishing.
And I'd like to do some apple shapes. Wouldn't apples be pretty?
Yes.
Maybe this is a screenshot.
Oh, hold on. I got nothing. We'll just focus on you.
And just as a reminder, how did I come up with the thread colors? I loved the colorway from my Jessie Watson. So I just kept the flosses on the floss tags, and they'll be so cute next. Like I'll have this framed and maybe this in front. I need 3 hands. But I know. Now I need a designer to help me create a little
nook. You don't. You've got that.
What do I buy? That kind of thing to go with it. I got to just look through my house. But anyway, I love these.
I love them.
So happy. All right.
I've got nothing finished, but I did, I was thinking this week I did very little stitching. Okay, let's do this now before I forget.
Okay. Ooh.
They're pretty. It's all Valentine's. So I have been working on Freitag, Mary Morgan, and I started something else today. But I think it was last week I stitched a ton. This week I've been dyeing fabric like nonstop, which your box is in the garage and going to go out today. Your 2 boxes.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't have a big enough one.
I'm almost done. Oh yeah. We'll talk shop stuff at the end for those who are interested. Oh, I can't wait to start that one.
I love this. I'm kind of like, oh, why did I put it down? Like, I love it so much. I want to finish it, but I don't know. I'm kind of glad I did. I'm enjoying, working on multiple projects. You don't get things done. I want to get things done.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of struggling with that, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
So I finished all of this.
This is Freitag.
Yep. And I think I did a lot of this.
You're all about the roses.
I know. They're so fun.
I can't wait to get to the rose on the other one. So you're doing this on 40 count covered bridge or 36?
No, 36.
Yep.
36 count covered bridge. I'm really enjoying it. I love it. I love 36 is my sweet spot. I'm doing 40 on 2 other projects and I like it, but 36 is a no-brainer for me. And I'm going to the eye doctors. I forgot when. Soon.
Take your projects. Take your 40 with.
Say
You
I
have to.
can I just tell you, I can't stand going to the eye doctors. I can't stand anyone near my eyes. If he does that, I can't stand it. That puffy thing. Drops, I can't stand. He just gets mad at me because I close my eye. He gets mad, like really, truly mad. Last time he was like,
Really?
forget it. And I'm like, sorry. I can't help it. It's like it's not like I'm
Yeah.
using it, but yeah.
So you're doing it on Covered Bridge, and I've got both. If you're interested, I've got it in your 36 count in the shop, and I also have it kit in an 18 count Ada that's Covered Bridge.
That's what I was hoping.
So yeah, so what I've been
Yeah.
doing is the kits that I'm getting now in the shop, I'm trying to do both an Ada version and a linen version, and then a version where it's just the chart and the floss. So if you want to use a different one of our linens, if you already have a linen you want to use, go
That's
for it.
brilliant.
So I just wanted to let you know,
Well,
if you want something that looks like Sue's.
yes. And so, most people know it. I hate to even say it out loud, but if you're a new person, you might not. 18 and 36 are exactly the same.
There you go, yes.
Because 18 is half of 36.
Yeah.
And on this piece, it will look beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful if you choose Ada.
Yeah.
So I love this piece.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
It's so beautiful. I know we've said it before. It's one of those samplers that just you feel like it was in grandma's house and
Yes,
in the mid 1800s.
I want it like near a little sort of table with a beautiful light and it right there. Like, can't you just envision that? I don't have that in my house.
And like the old telephone on the table, and like maybe a pear.
A pear could go in there for sure. But yeah, it's such an enjoyable stitch. There is a lot of color changes, but the pattern is really, the symbol choices are very good and it's not hard on your eyes. Like I would say, get to those roses, get those established, and I always get my darks in first. So things like that can help you not to feel like it's as fussy.
Yeah. Okay. I decided to plod forward with the 2 strands. This is on 32 count R&R something or other. I will put it down below. But you know what made me just plow forward with the 2 strands is the woman on Brenda and Laura's last episode, where they were in Arizona and they had all their friends from the retreat, not all of them, but some of them come up with stuff that they've stitched. And a woman came up with a gorgeous 40 count piece she used 2 strands on. And it was so gorgeous.
Well, yours is, there's no question. Like, I look at that and go, it is gorgeous. Yeah. Were you thinking of it more as you didn't like using 2 strands, or you didn't like the look of 2 strands?
I love the look. I wasn't enjoying the process.
Okay. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah. But you know what? I changed my needle size. A size 28 works just as good. The eye of the needle getting 2 strands is as the 26 did. And that's made a big difference.
Are you looping?
No, I'm not looping because I had already cut my threads too short, which is a bummer, but it's not, because there are so many little color changes in this one anyway. So I can actually loop my shorter thread that I cut. Yes. And I'm not wasting as much thread.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I did, it took a lot to get that chip in, and I did a lot. I spent a lot of time on it, but you can't really tell. But I was only to the alphabet section, so I've gone down the sides. And
every time I see it, I want to pull it out.
Oh, it's a stunner, and I cannot wait. I would love to get this done this year if possible.
I know. I love it. All right. We have one we're doing together, but I have one other that I pulled out today that.
Oh yeah, I do have one other too.
It's been kind of like pushing on my brain. As I showed it last time, and I'm really craving a red sampler. This is red. I did not realize I was going to start it. I didn't realize I had started it. I don't know what the fabric is. I think it's part of my club that I do with traditional stitches. Who's this?
Was that that one that came in that was really light.
No, that's not this one.
Oh, that's not that one.
No, that's not this one. It's a lakeside linen. I think it is 40 count. I'm using good old 498, which I was kind of mad that I had started it because my plan was to use this. But
you're not using that?
No, because I had already started it with 498. Sorry, I dropped everything. I cleaned my office in case anyone is noticing.
It's amazing. I didn't, if anybody noticed.
I decided I'm going to go back to putting my dye shelf where the oven is. Put the oven over there because that's covering an outside door, which goes to nowhere.
Oh, it is. You're right.
But it has my clothesline, and I love hanging clothes.
Yeah.
So that way, if that's on wheels, and just I roll it around all the time. So if I want to hang clothes when the spring comes, there's nothing better in my world than hanging out clothes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that soon. So that'll help. But
I remember helping my mom hang clothes when I was really little out when we lived on the farm, and the clothesline and the wind. And
I've always been a clothes hanger outer in all my houses. I've had one that extends to a tree. It's the back of our house. We live in a pit, so nobody sees it. And I love it so much.
Remember, do you have one of those? My mom had like her grandma's clothes hanger clip. What do you call them?
Clothespin bag.
Clothespin holder. It looked like it was out of like
fabric. It hangs
flower sackcloth.
Yep.
It was curved.
I don't have one of those, but I used to. In my old house, I had 2 lines that went off the back of my house. I loved it. And last summer I didn't use it at all. And this summer I'm going to use it. Just a little side tangent on my office.
And Loud Brian is now on the conference call, if you can hear him. So
we call him Loud Brian. So anyways, so I am really craving, I've said it 1,000 times, that one color. I'm craving it. I do have a blue one going, but I'm also craving using red right now. I don't know why. I'm kind of done with black for a while. I feel blacked out. But red. So Ben and Kristen are coming home this weekend, and I'm so excited. And I needed something like this. I didn't want to be changing. I can't concentrate as much.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make mistakes. So this is going to be my weekend stitch, I think.
And I missed what it is.
Oh, sorry.
Maybe I didn't miss it.
Hold on.
Everybody knows before me because I have it on the screen.
It's Modern Folk, the Little Bird.
Oh, you held that one up. Okay, yeah, the Little Bird Quaker sampler. So cute.
I love Modern Folk so much.
I got to do that round owl. Angry or grumpy owl, whatever it is.
I want to do some of his dark charts. I like a lot. Yeah. Those I will go back and do in black. I love them. But yeah.
Well, that's cool. You know, I'm doing red stuff too. And it actually is holding one of the things that I have been loving this week that I got. I was actually watching a yarn podcast. Oh gosh, I can't think of her name. She lives in DC. She used to podcast with her friend, and now she's on her own. She's been doing stickers. Oh, I'm gonna put the name down below, but she told me about this new tool from Coco Knits. I think it's called the Maker's Stand. Have you seen people talk about this in knitting circles? So it's basically, it comes in different colors. I got the gray color, but it basically
squirrel.
Yeah, I got my floss tag squirrel. It's being held up by magnets. So there's a sheet of metal under here and there's a sheet of metal under here. So you can, I could have this go like this and my scissors don't fall off. I've been using the magnets that come with it as just kind of a guide where I'm at, because I get a little dizzy with the squirrel for some reason. But I love this on my little side table. Everything is right there. It's such a neat little tool, and you can close it up. It flattens. It's just really a simple design.
I
but
love
it's
it.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
have a really hard time with holding a chart. I really do. Like,
Yeah.
you know me, I stitch in bed a lot. So I'll have my knees up and the chart's there, my iPad, I'm watching
Oh,
something and
don't you get a
that's
backache? Oh, that would kill me.
no, I have lots and lots and lots of pillows. No, I'm sitting up.
Oh, yeah, still.
Yeah, no, I've always,
Wow.
I know, I know.
And for that whole fanfare, this is all this is all I have so far of my red squirrel, but
Oh,
that's my gonna
so
be my little red work.
are you joining the what they are
Thank you.
doing on Friday?
Yes, this is the Friday night thing that's going on with Sassy Jacks. It's a free pattern, that's why I could hold it up for you. It's a band sampler. If you get the banding from her, it's 28 count. I'm using 36. And so it's going to be just a small little band sampler. And she's talking about this is actually designed by them, but it's using a lot of the orphanage, Bristol orphanage samplers as an inspiration. And then during the Friday night shows, which I'm watching not live, I'm just watching during the week.
Okay.
She puts them up. You can watch if you want. She talks about the Mr. Mueller and the orphanage and the girls, and so it's a little educational, which I love, and it's all one color.
That chart looks so much bigger than what you're stitching. Every time you
Well,
hold up the fabric, I'm like, how is that going to all fit on there?
well, this is a 28 count, and I think it's kind of true to size. Like the people who are stitching it, I think their fabric is going to be close to this size, but well, maybe not. No. Well, see, that's the squirrel size. My squirrel's a
Yeah.
lot smaller.
And you're doing 36 count.
I'm doing 36 count on your covered bridge, I believe it is.
Love
No, this is Dunes at Dusk. It's darker. Yeah. I mean, so, it just free. I think it'll be so cute.
There's so much good free stuff out there that I'm really not aware of. And I should be writing it down when I see other people doing it. And it's like
Yeah.
the smalls. There's so many really adorable smalls that are free.
I mean, go to your favorite designer's website, and most of them have a free tab. You click on it, and yeah, I was just looking at who was it? Shoot, can't think of it. But they had so many cute free things. I don't know if it was Artful Offerings or if it was
Ooh.
Country Cottage Samplers, the one that's doing the 12-month In the Woods series.
I can't decide if I would do, I love that piece so much, but I want the fox. I want to do that fox. I almost want to just do him standalone. The
Mhm.
raccoon is pretty cute. I was thinking the girls would just love those.
I love the patterning that she puts inside of the tail of the squirrel.
Oh,
It's beautiful. Here I go, glowing Rachel's coming.
oh no. You don't look glowing.
Okay,
You don't.
yet.
We
But
we have sun. We have been in the middle of a major wind. Like last night, it was like howling. I'm sure the woods, there's so many trees that have fallen down there. It looks awful.
You are like a day and a half after us, because we had that 2 days ago, and now we have wind warnings for today, so you're going to get that in 2 days.
Well, I think we already had it though.
Another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Supposed to get really cold. It's beautiful out there today. Okay.
Yeah.
So should we show the one we're working on together?
Yeah. I'll hold up the pattern.
Yes.
Mary Morgan's. I want to do a little more research on this sampler. This is a Welsh sampler that was reproduced by Fox and Rabbit. And
your cover looks like mine is so, I don't care about it, but this fabric,
mine looks like that in person. I think the camera is.
You do? Okay, because it looks lighter.
Looks like
anyway.
The photo is a little.
Yes. So Kari of Tiger Lily, we are doing this with her.
Yes. This is our Mary Morgan's. No, it's Mary's Rose Sale.
Oh, I have no idea what it is.
Hashtag Mary's Rose Sale on Instagram. And there is another hashtag too out there, which I put on mine, but we're both doing it. Oh, look at your modeling is showing up on your camera so much.
Yeah.
So we're doing it, we're going at it a little differently, you and I.
Well, Kari made me want to get to that rose. I hope I'm really worked on getting it right. This piece is really interesting to me because I'm really drawn and driven by it, but it's very odd, right? Like the colors are crazy. It's just odd. And when I started the rose, I'm like, I just don't know these colors. But now,
oh my God, these colors.
they all come together.
Well, and I don't know. I'm just, as I'm doing it, I'm like, this was a girl who loved color.
Yes. And I have to say, I went from being like on the fence to this is fabulous.
Yeah.
I think too, looking at what I'm coming from, that D Freitag, which is so, Victorian, soft and
oh my gosh, the floss, you held it up earlier.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's so fun. The border, most borders, they're the same color all the way around. She uses that really bright blue green and then one strand of like an emerald green on one side.
Oh, I haven't even picked up on that.
Yeah. So I feel like she just had a bunch of colors. And this is they used the back of the sampler to come up with their colors. So this is like what she chose. This is not their interpretation to make it a like crazy sampler.
I will tell you, it's so unusual. It's a really risky, like to me as a designer, it's a risk to do something this unusual. And I think it paid off tenfold.
Did you just hear that? That was perfect timing. And I hope they're making a lot of money on this sampler.
I know. No, I think it is amazing.
That's hilarious.
Also, okay, a couple things.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that huge.
No. Well, we're doing it on 40, Sue.
40, but yeah, that makes a difference. But Kari, what's she doing hers on?
Kari's piece of fabric to have a 3-inch border was 24 by 24.
Okay.
So I needed a full yard of Aida. She's doing it in 16 count Aida, which I do have kit up in the shop, and it looks amazing.
Amazing. So big. Yeah, Rachel will do her job down here, Tiger Lily. So you can see it on Aida because it's fantastic. Yeah. But you know what I'm finding is this is the most tedious part. This is going to fly.
Yes.
Fly. Like, I keep going to move around to get back to the letters because I could get so much done.
Yeah. I appreciate you telling me that the border is not consistent. It's not a like 10-6, 10-6 as you're going around. There are 2 areas that are only 9. So yeah, so be very careful. Mine matched up. Oh, I did a happy dance. And I started this, I have 2 things. I started this little line goes all the way across.
I love that.
That is such a fun little stitch. It's so mindless. You get into a rhythm. And then the other thing that just occurred to me as kind of a newer stitcher, I'm really trying hard. I listened to the last episode that Nicola Parkman did, Hands Across the Sea, and she was talking about the importance of a clean back of your sampler because that will really make your front look even better. And before I was always like, oh, nobody sees the back. I'm not going to subscribe to my back has to be perfect kind of thing. But so she said it, and now I got it in my craw that I really want to just keep it as neat as possible, but I also want it to go faster. So I started out, doing these little buds of whatever flower that is, and then I cut my floss and restart over. But what I ended up realizing is I'm just going to carry them behind the green, blue. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, again, I've never claimed to be a purist, but I'm a framer. So I know what you can get away with.
Yes.
And absolutely, that's what I would do. Because again, for me, it's about enjoying the process. Yeah. And if I'm cutting every little one, I'm not enjoying the process.
Yeah.
So I know, see, I think I did it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
know
Here's
what you
my
get
back.
away. Yeah, because my question to you was, what do you think is messy about your backs? Like, what are the things you're doing?
Um, the way that I'm weaving in my thread after I cut it,
Mhm.
sometimes I'll go through it lengthwise under the loops, and sometimes I'll go the other direction through different rows, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I think Nicola said snip short. And I was always leaving a little tail because I was afraid it was going to. So I'm finding that I'm weaving in more, and I'm doing what I do when I weave in ends for knitting. I go one direction and then I come back and lock it in.
That's what I was going to tell you.
Okay.
That's even if I go up, sometimes I do this and go up a little. Again, there are probably purists that are like losing their minds right now. So I don't want to offend anyone, but or tell someone to do the wrong thing if you're a purist. Don't listen to me if you're a purist. But I would work my way up, like kind of going like this and then back down, just a couple, then snip right up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now I do the pin stitch when I start my thread.
I don't know what that is.
Well, the pin stitch is where you come up in the corner and you come down in the center one hole away, and then you go to the other corner, you bring it up and you go through that hole again.
Oh,
So it's leaving these like little, and I try and weave those in as I stitch, but the pin stitch, the start of it leaves a little thing. So I had a different idea, and I wonder if anyone else does this. Why can't you do what you do when you're weaving in at the end in the beginning? So take your thread, your needle with your thread, weave it in some work you've already done.
absolutely. That's what I do.
Turn it. That's what you do. Okay, I just kind of came up with that on my own, but
That's what I do. Like I'll just secure it by going like
secure it.
this and then come up. The other thing, I don't know if we've talked about it here, like I use a lot of the first stitch, like say there's nothing else on there
Yeah.
or it's far away.
Yeah.
I'll use an away snot.
Okay, Nicola said that that's what she does.
Yeah, that was big when I was teaching. That was a big thing. And so what you do is like say I was doing this straight line, it's so hard to see, this straight line.
Yep.
So I would thread my needle, put a knot in it, and then go down into the fabric, not
From
up.
the top.
Yeah, but I will go down. I will know where I'm going to start, and I'll kind of go across, like visually, because I
Yep.
wanna be in that halfway mark of the cross, so that I'll go down and then I'll come up, and so that when I'm stitching over it for say 4 or 5 stitches, cut the knot, cut here, you're done.
Right. And that's why you need really good scissors to cut the knot so you don't snip through. Do you pull the
Not
knot up a
really.
little?
No, because you don't even really have to be anywhere near the knot. You can cut where you're and then pull it from the knot,
Okay,
right?
good. These are
Again,
all,
these are tricks from somebody that
yep.
isn't a purist.
I don't think, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know
That's
how many purists there are in the
I
world
don't
right
either.
now. And my whole theory on that is if you're a purist and you love that and that brings you so much joy, go for it. If you're
Yeah.
being a purist, but it's not who you are and you're not enjoying it,
Yeah.
stop. There are ways
Yeah.
to do things.
Yep.
Another little public service announcement.
Yeah, so I think that's all I wanted to, that was a lot, but this one really has taught me some things. I don't know.
Well,
It's just
and
speaking to me.
the other thing is, like, I looked at this as another huge project.
Me too.
It isn't. It's a medium-sized project.
Yeah.
And
Honestly, I think it'll be shorter than my Jessie Watson took me because there was so much stitching on that one.
the only part that's really, I'm looking at the thing, is
Yeah.
really this area has the most color changes. A lot of these are like a single color for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Now, it occurred to me when she stitched this, they probably didn't stitch on gray linen, right? I mean, all samplers are on, so we're kind of going out of the box just to kind of make the colors pop. So that might bug I don't know.
I love the colors on this fabric. I love this fabric.
Me too.
I
So much.
I think it really pops those colors
Have we
and
said if it's nor'easter
yeah,
and
nor'easter.
the 36 and the 40 count? This is my first time on 40 count, by the way, and I love it. I'm having absolutely no problem with it if I do it during the day or with really good light, but
Yeah. I
I
have
love it.
new glasses. I don't know where they went. Dave had ordered a bunch, so I got a pair of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're up. The ampage is up a little more. So I do double glasses.
Yep. Yep. Love it. I'm so excited. I want to stitch this now. Like,
I want
bring
to
it
see
on.
everything right now. Everything.
Okay, do you have anything else? How are we doing on time? I would love to have our episodes under an hour, but with two people, pretend when you're watching this, people, that
Watching
you're
too.
watching two.
Yeah.
Like
It
divide it.
really is. The last one, it's way easier under an hour for all the technical stuff.
Yeah.
An hour or under, but yeah, we do the best we can.
Okay. Anything else? Stitching. That's all I have to show now.
I got nothing.
Today. Okay. What about things you're loving and I'm loving, Sue? What?
Tell me what you're loving, because mine
Okay.
is really boring and common, but I'm obsessed.
So I love that maker stand,
Yes.
but I found a new audio podcast. You know, you go to Apple and you click on
I love
podcast.
audio.
It has got Rachel written all over it.
All
So,
right.
and it came up as a podcast that they recommended to me, which never is what I usually like. But
Okay.
this time, what's it called?
What's the subject matter?
Okay. Well, it is called Haptic and Hue. So Haptic, Haptic and Hue, and I'll put it down below. Haptic is all about the sensory, it's understanding through touch. And hue,
Okay.
is color.
Oh, that kind of hue. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's not like a husband and wife team named Haptic and Hue or anything like that. Cartoon characters. That'd be a good cartoon show. Haptic and Hue.
It did feel very like that. Okay. What's it about?
So this is an ex-BBC TV reporter woman who is also a hand weaver, like a very good hand weaver. Now, I think she might be retired from the BBC, but she has that sound of a BBC announcer, So at first I was like, but then I read her background and it's like, well, yeah, this is such a well-produced show. She calls herself the weaver of stories and cloth. And her episodes dig deep into different parts. It's choking me up. I love it so much. I'm talking too much. She gets into the tales. It's the tales of textiles, and it's all historical information about a piece of textile in the past, and she talks about the historical context around it. It's just amazing. So I've listened to 3 episodes. The first one I listened
new?
to, yes, she's new ones, but there's 3 seasons you can listen to. And so I'm like, So the first one was about Canada in World War II times, these quilts that they were finding that were made by females and children in Canada as a token of friendship and warmth and care that were sent over mostly to England, Great Britain, to people who were destitute because of the war, who lost homes. And she talks about the groups in Canada, the women that were working together, and how this is just such an unknown. I mean, it's basically like she was being a sleuth and trying to figure out where this quilt that she has in her grandmother's closet, that she found. And it's amazing. Her interviews, the production value is wonderful. Then the next episode, oh gosh, what was it about? Oh, the city of Lyon, France in like the 1800s. It was the silk manufacturing, silk weaving manufacturing center of the world. And
Hmm.
that's why we have fashion now, and Paris is such an epicenter of fashion, that city of Lyon. So you go back in history and learn about these silk weavers and how they lived in these dwellings where their whole family would live down below, and their looms that would have like 200 um, silk fibers per inch, and the artistry and the history behind the whole city, how it just grew because of this weaving. And now there's not one weaving business there, but the buildings still exist where the weavers lived, and now they're like, yuppie condos. And but every once in a while things will fall from the ceiling, and that was she just it's
I'm
wonderful.
gonna listen.
I know. And then the third one I listened to was about African waxcloth, and how historically the manufacturing of textiles has not been good for women and for children, and has created, not a good existence for them. But in terms of African waxcloth, it has really helped the women of Africa, certain nations, because they sell that cloth, and it's helped. And there's a law, I guess, in some of these countries in Africa, that these waxcloth businesses have to be handed down from mother to daughter. Like, it has to be handed down to the women. So, I
So
mean,
what is waxcloth?
it's well, a type of waxcloth is
Like batik?
batik. Yeah,
I
it's
thought
it's
that's what I was picturing was the
yeah,
batik fabric line.
it's putting down the wax
Mhm.
and then putting your dye on and then taking the wax off. So
Okay.
it's kind of opposite of painting,
Yep.
where you're adding to. This is, yeah.
That's what I was picturing, but I wasn't 100% sure.
And if you Google waxcloth, you'll know it. Like, it's kind of it's having its moment. It's those bright colors.
Mm.
Different countries have different designs that they're known for. And the irony of it is that most of it is produced in Belgium and Great Britain. And and why is that the case? She gets into that. I mean, historically, you learn so much. It's over way before you want it to be over. You just,
Yes. Oh, I have to go run errands today, so I'm gonna put it on. It's
yeah.
making me think of the book Worn that we're reading. That whole,
Yes.
yeah.
The
I
other one, I
actually,
listened to four. The one that all of you will be most interested in is a sampler study of an orphanage in England, and they've uncovered different samplers that the girls did, and they dissect them and talk about.
oh, I can't
Yeah,
wait.
yeah, you'll love read all the titles, and it's like one is just singing to me more than the next. It's right up my alley, and I think it'll be up a lot of your alleys out there.
That's so interesting. Well, it's really interesting reading Worn because
Yeah.
the little town that I live in, which now is a different town, I mean, there's a textile mill, there's two textile mills within 5 minutes of me,
Mhm.
and they're no
Yes.
longer textile mills.
Connecticut was a huge
Huge.
center of it. And
Well, and
even,
one of them, the odors that came from it, the dyes, was so horrible and really horrible for our health.
yeah.
And I lived probably 3 minutes down the road from it growing up. I'm probably 10 minutes now. But
Mhm.
my mom's house is 3 minutes from it, and the smells, they were toxic. You're like, oh my God, we're all gonna die. And the
Yeah.
river's right there, the
Yeah.
the waterfall, and oh my God, I really have to start investigating and reading about our town because
Yes.
we have a river that runs underground through the center of our town. Now it's a very run down. It's my favorite part. It's where we were before this house. We were in the throes of it, like the main
Mhm.
street. Not
Mhm.
Our house was beautiful.
Oh, I
Um,
want to come and let's do a little
oh,
investigative
oh,
journaling on.
you would be mesmerized by
I,
this town. You would be
and
mesmerized. And I
I
know
feel
nothing
like,
because I haven't ever really, we learned it in school, but I'm not really into history. You're kind of like drawing that out of me. And it's like, there's so much history in this little town. Now, I moved to the next part of the town, which I don't even like using the name of the town because I like the old town. But when we moved here, I have to because now I'm in that part of the town, right? But when I lived in the original part, I used the original name always. I never called it by the new name. So,
Well, and what's, it's like back then, now we're creating textiles for fun and it costs a lot of money for us to create textiles and it's cheaper to buy. But back then it was cheaper to
and they
make
hated
your
having
own.
to do it. It was their job. Like the things that we love to do now, like spinning, weaving, knitting, like that was their job. Although it technically is our job because of what we do for a living. But like,
Yeah.
I
That's
don't
what
know.
that Warren book that we're both reading. If anybody else is reading it, we should all just share down below kind of things that you're really gleaning from it.
It makes me, I've always loved being a New Englander. Like it's so in my blood. But it makes me love it even more. And I'm actually listening to it. I decided I know I won't sit and read it. I know like my brain just doesn't have time. So now I'm listening to it and I
Me too.
love listening because like before we have our discussion, I will re-listen to chapter 1. I've already listened to it twice because I half listen and
so much. Yeah, you can't get it all.
but it's, everything they're talking about is where I, it's just so cool.
I was thinking about you when I was listening,
Yeah,
for
it's so
sure.
cool.
So
Well, and having, I mean, my family goes way back in our town. And when I lived on the main street, it was my grandmother's house. And my grandfather had it built for her. And if I have to remember all the history, I hated leaving that house. I hated leaving that house. I wanted to move it. I really did want to move it.
Yeah.
But we have pictures where it was a dirt road and there was
Yes.
so much history in this little town of ours, which I feel like I haven't appreciated enough. You're really making me appreciate it more.
Oh, it's so fun to learn about that all.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. You know what? And I did listen to another episode of Haptic and Hue about shoddy fabric. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, bad fabric, it's shoddy. No, that term actually was not a negative term. It became a negative term because of the type of fabric that it was during the time. So that's another fascinating one. You go to England, you talk about the Civil War, even though she's British. A lot of American history is in that one with the Civil War and shoddy fabric that was made for the armies. And I love how it's woven into our language and we don't even know where'd the term shoddy come from? Like shoddy workmanship,
Yes.
It's all a lot of our interesting terms like that, linguistics, our language, it has like a weaving, textile making foundation, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I have to say though, the Warren book has made me feel badly.
Well,
it's really making me think about purchasing and what I purchase and being more conscious of that.
Yes.
I'm struggling with it. I feel like I have to do a little research to buy from the appropriate places and and that's a privilege that some people don't have.
Yes.
There's
a section in that in the book where it says, it's just stuck with me. Take a look at what you're wearing and now envision all the people that made it. Like, I've probably got, I don't know, the pants I'm wearing are, no, I didn't make them, and maybe I think they were probably made in China. And okay, so there was an actual person, many people that touched these before I got them. And are they being treated well or paid fairly? Oh, when you really attach people to everything. Now this I made, and this is, oh gosh, it's a New England yarn, swan.
Oh, I know.
I can't believe
Swan? No.
Swan. I went to their mill actually and bought this to make the sweater. And I mean, it's like American sheep, Swan's Island.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So
Yeah.
it's like, I feel good about wearing this
Well,
today.
and I think like I know I won't be able to do it like across the board, but I'd like to try to do better. I think
Yeah.
that's my goal is to do better. I
Yes.
won't be able to do 100%. And honestly, well, I have so few clothes because we've been in a pandemic for so long that who
Me
needs
too.
clothes? And I'm starting to feel like, oh, that's what's bothering me. I'm starting to be like, oh, I really need to start buying clothes. We haven't in so long. And so, yeah, I have to really think
Yeah.
about it.
All right.
We'll do
So
the best we can.
yes, we do. And we've gone down a tangent now and we've
Tangent.
spent, but I think it's really fascinating. And I think you guys will love this
I'm
podcast.
so excited about it.
Yes. And so next time I'll share another podcast that I'm listening to that I also enjoy. And you know why I'm listening to so many podcasts is because I'm serging so much fabric.
Fabric. I know you've got a lot coming your way.
It's
I
so fun
know.
with these podcasts.
I really enjoy audio podcasts, but I
Mhm.
listen to
Ew.
some, I do listen to some of the Murderino ones, but I also love like Brene Brown.
I
I'm a,
gotta listen to her.
oh my gosh, Unlocking Us and Dare to Lead. She's just such a strong, powerful, um, she runs her business so unbelievably, like it's amazing. That's what
Mhm.
I'm inspired by her when I see
Mhm.
how she treats the people that work for her. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. I love her. But you want to hear what I'm obsessed with?
Yes.
Sourdough bread. I
Yes.
know I'm so late to the party, but I am obsessed. I made 2 loaves this morning.
Yeah. We had to start late because of it, Sue.
Yeah, we
Where
did.
are your priorities?
I know. It's like I need 10 more minutes. Oh my gosh. So I did last night. I made a double batch and I woke up to it like unbelievable. So I make chocolate sourdough bread, which is like a chocolate croissant.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So the killer is I don't want to eat it all, but I want to make it all. So
Yes.
I just deliver it to people.
How wonderful. I know
Yeah.
this morning I was like, sure, we can be 10 minutes late if I get one of those loaves.
I know.
It's like,
I am not kidding you. I almost put one in with the fabric. I really did. I am not kidding you. I had a chocolate loaf and I'm like, I really want to put this in here, but I didn't know how good it would take. I'll do it next time, I promise.
yay.
I honestly, I'm not kidding because I had space, but it wouldn't fit fabric. So I'm like, I could put the loaf right there.
Well, it's very eco-friendly because it's not like peanuts or packing
Yeah,
plastic. Maybe you're onto something, Sue. Sourdough packing materials.
I know. So I'm
Ooh.
upset. I love it. I love it so much. There's something about the motion of it, the tactileness of it. It just reminds me of everything we love to do.
And you started with Ballerina Farm's
Right.
freeze-dried
Dry.
sourdough
That was
starter.
my starter, and you use so little of it. I wish someone lived close by that I could just hand the rest off.
Or put in a box of fabric.
Yeah. Do you want it? I can send it
No,
to you. I really can. It's sitting in my refrigerator.
I don't. We did that all during the pandemic early days.
Such an obsession. It's such an obsession. Took
Yeah,
everything in me not to cut the end off of the one that came out of the oven and
Oh,
slap it with butter for breakfast, but I'm not gonna.
oh, what? That's the reward for being the baker.
I know, but Ben and Kristen are coming, so I have lots of bread. I bought lots of meats and yeah,
Oh,
so
how fun. You're going to have a nice weekend.
I'm so excited.
Yeah, what time do they get in the evening or
I
tomorrow?
tonight I'm hoping like between 6 and 7. They're hoping to leave at 3, so it'll probably be like 6:30, 6:45.
Oh, fun. My boys have been on their winter break, so tonight we plan to go out to eat, the 4 of us. We haven't gone out to eat since a vacation, long time ago. So we've got reservations and we're just gonna go out to eat tonight.
Oh, that sounds so wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Yeah.
Well, we hope you all have a nice weekend ahead, and we'll hopefully get this up live at some point this weekend.
Yes. Do you want to show anything new in your shop?
Yeah, if you're not interested, we'll say goodbye now and thanks for watching. There's just a few things I kind of scattered while we were talking just because. So I shared with you that I'm now going forward, I'm trying to do both Aida and linen kits, and as well as kits that just have the pattern and the floss. And I've had a restock that's happened. So if there's something that you wish you could have had before, it's probably in the shop. A good friend of ours who is newer to needlework wanted me to put together a little kit for her that she could kind of get back into needlework. And she's a knitter. And so she loved this little sheep by Little House, and it's small. I thought this would be a really nice starter kit. So if anybody out there, is newer, somebody out there who's a knitter who just kind of came to us because of our knitting podcast, this is a little kit that I put together. It's on a 28 count even weave, so it would be pretty easy for you to learn how to stitch on. And I mean, who doesn't want a little sheep that says wool?
Well, can I tell you, kits used to really be like, no, you don't buy a kit. Like they were kind of taboo back in when I first started. Because they weren't typically quality. They were, you just weren't getting the quality materials. So when I look at like these, like you're getting such a quality kit. Well, not your, everyone's tempted to go to a big box store, get one of those little kits and make it up, and they serve a purpose for sure. Yeah. But if you're going to go to all that trouble, like again.
And my beginner, these littler kits are not that much more expensive than what you'd spend at, Hobby Lobby. Yeah. The final thing I wanted to share with you, I have a new product that I'm putting in my shop. Modern Hoopla is the company. I'm always trying to do the work, so you don't have to. And this is all about finishing quickly. So I'm just starting out small with modern Hoopla. But the first thing I have in my shop is this. This is called a hoop stand. And so if you have a finished project, literally, and it's done. Yeah, these are so cool.
Girls' pieces.
Yes, exactly. Things like that, on a bookshelf with some other stuff around it. I wish I had a finished object right now, but so these work really well with 10-inch hoops or smaller, which is pretty much all that we do. And they even work with these ovals.
I love your ovals.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I want to do these ovals. Like Brenda Gervais has she's got ovals, a lot of hoops. She's got that whole season.
Would you have it the other way too?
Well, the only problem is on this style, it's at this end. Yeah. But I've seen hoops that I have to look for that and see if I can get some of those in my shop. But I just think these are ingenious, and it's made out of a furniture grade birch plywood. It's so smooth. She's got different finishes. I just went with the natural for now, and maybe in the future I'll have some holiday kits that have because when I look at this, I see snow globe. Yes. I mean, I'm feeling like I want to do something fun for us all for winter with this in a kit, and you can get these stained in different colors, and I mean, you could even do whatever you want, just paint it. But they're nice and smooth. They're so well done, and this is a woman-owned business somewhere on the East Coast. I think Virginia is where it came from. Okay, so that's a small item from her, and then she has these frames, and so this one is a whitewashed frame, and basically it's the same. It's a concept where you can put your hoop in the inside. Here's room where the hoop goes. It covers about 1/8 of an inch of your fabric. So like here, this is my one I did last year, the Barbara Anna. I popped in the hoop, and you can, I had this framed in the back with my belt. Oh
goodness.
Yeah, really cool. So this is a 4-inch size hoop, and I've got the 4-inch hoops. If you you don't have to use them to stitch on, but just to finish, you just put it in the hoop and
I'm tempted now with that little Barbara Anna dream one that I'm doing for the girls.
Oh, there's so many cool. And then she's got these as well. Another way to put
Oh
your hoop
my
in the
goodness.
back. And I got it in natural, but we'll see how well these go and I'll maybe add some
Well,
more.
for something like that too, you could add, you could Priscillify. I mean, I don't
Totally.
do a lot of that, but a lot of people do. You could Priscillify that whole thing with amazing things.
You could. Totally. That's part of the reason I went natural. It's an oil rub stain she puts on, but it's so smooth. There's no sharp. They're beautiful on the wall, and on the listing I've put some pictures of them like against the wall or just sitting
Love it.
like that hoop stand. So that's my current offerings from Modern Hoopla, but I look forward to maybe working with her a little bit more to come up with some other fun things for us all.
So fun. I love it.
Yeah, so that is, I also I've gotten a lot of different kinds of notions that I'm really loving. This sold so fast. This is the wide mouth. It opens up really
Didn't even
wide
know that
zipper.
happened.
Yeah, I've got these in different colors. This color is, it's not showing up. It's more of a turquoisey kind of Lori Holt blue.
Mhm.
Um, that sold out really fast and it's back ordered, but I've got other colors. And then it's a company called Zip It.
Can I tell you what I would use that for?
Tell me.
Punch needle.
Yes, 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 yes. Oh, that would be so great.
You could even fit like your threads in there. Because for me, punch needle is the hardest to
Yes.
organize. I
That's a
don't like,
great idea.
yeah.
I will definitely do that. I love that it just opens wide. You can, if you're at a retreat or just at your
Yes.
desk, at your chair, you can just easily get to things. Zip It also makes these really cool, they call it a pencil case, but I just call it really cool organization. Um, it's got this little flap that you can put your scissors and I've got my highlighter, my marking tool, and my pencil. I've got tape measure in here. I think I have maybe some thread wax, whatever. It's a pocket with Velcro. And then you've got this big space. Well, it's not big, but
Is
for
that
other things.
space big enough for like this?
Well, yes, it is. The only thing that I don't like is the zipper with the floss, because if you're not careful, the
Oh,
floss can get caught in the zipper. I thought this would be really cool for a floss holder because you zip it and it sort of goes flat.
yeah.
But you have to be really careful with the zipper.
Yeah, I just love the thought of having those more contained than just floating around.
Me too. And I'm trying to come up with I would love it. They have those, they open and close, but they're not a zipper. It's what do they call it? Clamshell?
I know what you mean. Yep.
Yeah, I'm trying to source something like that.
Mhm.
And then the other one that I got from Zip It is a 3 zipper one with the, put your pens and pencils and accoutrements.
Oh,
If you like things really separated and then the front is clear. So
I want
really,
that for my journaling that I never do.
yeah, and they're made so well. I love their zipper pulls. It's nice material, really nicely sewn. It even has little loops on the back if you wanted to, I don't know, attach it to something, or I guess you could hang it on your wall or attach it to a bag, or I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet, but those are fun. So
Fun
yeah,
stuff.
just kind of brainstorm and come up with different ways to use those. So yeah, getting kind of fun new things in my shop. I have some exciting stuff coming this week, which I cannot wait to share. That's it
You're going
though.
to need a bigger room.
I know I'm busting out of the cubes already, but I like my size, I think.
Yeah. Well, it's nice. It feels like there's a real rotation of things. Nothing just sits. It's just like
Yeah.
keep that, which is such a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love shipping out to everyone, and thank you for people who've referred me to other people. When that happens, I really try and jump on it fast the minute if I know it's coming. Like yesterday, Kari mentioned the Mary Morgan's kit to somebody, and she tagged me on Instagram, and it dinged on my phone that it came in, and I was like, because this woman was like, I can't find it anywhere. My shop is back ordered, and
Oh,
so
I
I was like,
know. And
oh,
it's, I know. And then Nashville is right
yeah.
there.
I've seen some of the releases, but not a lot.
Not a
I've
lot.
seen Teresa's.
Yep. Teresa's, Plum Street, I've seen.
Ooh, I have to look that one up.
I forgot who's showing a lot of the releases. Yeah.
Blue Flower, I think I saw. I think Liz Matthews and Kathy Barrick are going to do
The
an
video, that'll
episode
be fun. I
video.
always enjoy their release videos. Always.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Lots of new stuff coming our way. I love when expo happens.
I do too. It
Needlework
distracts
market.
me from what I'm doing, but that's
Yeah.
okay. That's okay.
Okay, this is now our longest episode ever.
Okay. Well, there's
So
stuff we can cut.
well, have a great weekend, everyone, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, I'm going to go check that podcast out. I cannot wait to talk.
Yeah, check it out. Thanks for liking and subscribing.
Yes.